As a kid, I didn't see the world for what it was. I saw it for what it could be. And growing up on Chicago's West Side, my world was 1 block long, a dead-end street, abandoned homes, vacant lots, gangbangers, drug dealers, ghetto, and lonely. I'm so grateful, though, because in my head, my world was so different. See, I was an extremely creative, imaginative little girl. Pippi Longstocking and I, well, we could have been best friends. Listen, I blazed my own trail. I was the hero and, I was the shero in all of my escapades. And I even had my own radio station. And it did not start with a W either. It was NFBT. Nayoka, Faith, Bernard, Thomas. And on heavy rotation, you would hear a little Bill Withers, Lean on Me. You would hear a little Stephanie Mills, Home. And my absolute favorite, that Cinderella classic, Bibbidi, Bobbidi, Boop. Listen, I love that radio station. But most importantly, I loved what that radio station meant to me. It meant boundless energy, boundless curiosity, and authenticity. It really was my sincere desire to connect with others. It was my sincere desire to break barriers, to crowd out instead of trying to fit in. The Bible tells us, unless you change and become like a little child, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Listen, my desire on this side of heaven is to be kingdom bound. My desire is to do good works and to let my little light shine. Now, I don't have a tattoo at all, but if I ever got one, I would put it right here. This is a K in sign language, but I would put it right here, and I would put the letters K and the letters B on it. Kendall and Brooke, not for you and Brooke, but I would put it on there as a gentle reminder to me that I am kingdom bound. I've come to realize in life that really living, and I'm talking about really living, it's not about being childish, but it is very much like being childlike. It's about that same boundless trust, that same boundless curiosity and wonder that I had as a child. But for a very long time, if I can be honest, and I think we're all being honest on this stage, I forgot the first rule of the kingdom. I forgot to be childlike. I became so focused on creating a stable life for everybody else that I stopped living one. And that little girl in me, that little light in me, well, it went dark, as in real dark. Sadly, I traded my boundless what ifs for those suffocating what is. And what was, my friends, it had become a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 3-car garage, 3,800 square foot reminder of my dead end street. Lifeless, lonely. But this time, I lost me completely. See, I went from being a mother, or I went from my mother taking care of me to college. And then I went to my husband taking care of me. Now, he was the only boyfriend that I've ever had, and he's the only man that I ever knew. Well, I put all of my faith in him. I put all of my trust in him. Now, he was a manly man, and he had all the C's. He was caring, he was charismatic, he was confident. Boy, was he confident. He was charming, but he was also a cheat. But let me put a pin in this right here, right now. I do not hate him, and he does not hate me. But the person that's supposed to help you climb the mountain of life, well, he became the mountain himself repeatedly. And that 1.5 carat wedding ring that was once a symbol of my future, well, it had become a weight that held me down. My fear, and with fear and trepidation, I took it off, vowing never to put it back on again. After years and years of crushing, and after years of pressing, and even purgatory, I am now at a place of strength and clarity. My husband of 25 years, now husband of 5, he said this, and I know he said it in ego, but he said that I would never find anybody that would give me everything that he has. Well, I know that that was a lie from the pit of hell. They know it was a lie from the pit of hell. And perhaps you do too. Because listen, I know someone that could give me what no man can give me. Yeah. And that is peace. That what? Okay. But listen, strangely enough, it wasn't the things that I wanted. What I wanted was to make it up the mountain. What I wanted was respect, faithfulness. What I wanted was to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, to be appreciated, and hell, throw in a little romance. I put all my faith in man. I gave up all my power. I was losing myself in the process. So I had to repent. I became childlike and returned to my first love. That's Jesus Christ. I reaffirmed my faith in God, whose love is what? The same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So then I started beginning to exercise what I call crazy faith. I reclaimed my independence. I took my power back, and I embraced a what if mindset. I started feeding my faith and starving my distractions. I let go of all the things that drained me and nourished the parts of me that helped me to be who I was meant to be. Instead of asking myself that silly question, what if I fail? I asked a better question. That question is, what if I fly? Now, that what if question now, let me be real, it led me to some new and some scary realities. After 2 decades of working in the home and owning my own childcare business called Buttons and Bows Childcare Beyond Imagination, I found myself starting all over again, but this time earning, get this, $10 an hour while going through a divorce. Every day was a constant battle. It was a battle of good, and it was a battle of evil. One part of me was so extremely grateful for where I was, but the other part of me, all ego, was like, girl, you know you need to do better. You're going through a divorce. You deserve so much more. But listen, when I look at my life in reverse, when I turn around and look at it in reverse, that position where I only earned $10 an hour, it wasn't just a job. It was the beginning of my work. It wasn't just a place of employment for me. It was, in fact, my deployment. I was right where I needed to be to become who I was meant to be. That place was where my future self started to unfold. During that deployment, I learned about this amazing program called the Multicultural Leadership Program. Yes. Otherwise known as MCL. Mm-hmm. That program, it changed the trajectory of my life. Yesterday, when I said that, I was so full of emotion and tears because I kid you not, that program changed the trajectory of my life. It was there that I learned who I was in relationship to who I wanted to be. It was there that I learned about my strengths and I learned about my passions. It was there that I learned what I wanted to do as a result of those things. I learned that I wanted to stop playing small. I wanted to stop playing it safe. I wanted to be a person of substance, a person of influence, a person of impact, not just for myself and my family, but for my community at large. Upon completion of that program, I created a 6-word memoir. Mine was, I empower people to embrace their power. Listen, faith powers my journey. So after getting on my knees and praying, okay, God, what do you have me do now? I kid you not. Less than about 4 hours later, I was presented with an opportunity to work as a medical scribe for an OBGYN practice. And it was a Christian practice of all places. I know you clocking it over there. I'm good. That Christian practice, you know what it was? Further deployment. Now, I knew nothing about being a medical scribe, but I did know how to hold space for people. And they allowed me to do that for 2 years. They allowed me to start my day praying with the staff, in the middle of the day, praying with the patients, throughout all the day, covering the doctors in prayer. But what I didn't know would happen there was that practice was going to hold space for me. Space to learn these things: spiritual humility, space to learn that love, it gives, and space to learn that Nayoka, that I wasn't inadequate, but that I am truly powerful beyond measure. I learned that I was meant to make manifest the glory of God that is in me. And as I walked through those rooms, letting my little light shine, I was unconsciously doing the exact same for everybody else. Well, after 2 years of scribing for that doctor, I felt this nudge again. My mission was changing. Time to step out of the shadows. I always believed the best of me was designed to come along with others, but I felt this nudging to step out of the shadows. It was time to operate in my calling. I didn't know what that was going to be, but here's one thing that I was hoping. It had nothing to do with no more vaginas. I packed my childlike faith and my God-given strengths. I packed my positivity. I packed my creativity. I packed my relatability and my vulnerability to get to where I am today. In addition to my belief that God will open doors that no man can shut. So that dead-end street, that broken marriage, that $10 an hour job, it wasn't my destination. It was my ground zero for my next launch. Deployment, quite literally, to this spot. Spring of 2022, I started playing a new tune. I bet on myself. I raised the bar. I lived full out. And I started right here working at Heartland Community College. Yeah. Now, I started here as a success navigator. And just 9 months later, I was promoted. I was offered a position as the associate director. I did that for 2 years. And can I tell y'all something? Kind of like Tiffany said, just 3 months ago, I was promoted to director. Yeah. But not just that. Get this. The director of the Workforce Empowerment Initiative. Now, is that not deployment at its finest? I mean, I stand here today, y'all, this little DJ, empowering others to empower themselves. With childlike curiosity and wonder, I went back to trusting God's plan. I'm replacing my what is for what ifs. And no, I'm not entertaining that fear-filled question, what if I fail? No, absolutely not. You all should know me a little bit better than that by now. Instead, you know what I'm doing? I'm asking a more creative, a more imaginative question. I'm saying, Nayoka, Faith, Bernard, Thomas, what if, just what if you fly?